give some opening remarks and we'll open the questions.
Yeah, obviously frustrated. It wasn't our night. Credit to Stanford, they played really well. We had trouble guarding them. And we had trouble finding the right shots. It's never great when Michelle's in foul trouble. We just couldn't find a rhythm offensively for large chunks of the game.
So Coach, pretty back and forth first quarter. Then they got the 5-point lead, but second quarter you guys scored 5 points.
Yeah,
that's where everything seemed to fall apart.
Yeah. I think based off of feel, right? I haven't watched the tape yet, but I didn't like the shots we were taking. I didn't think we were giving ourselves a great chance, to put some points on the board there. And then on the other end, they were just getting things way too easy, and it allowed them to get some separation. And it's hard with this team once they get separation, once they get confident at home, everybody starts making everything. So, yeah, we dug ourselves a hole for sure in that second quarter.
Coach, you talked about losing Michelle against a team like this. When you lose one of your bigs with a team that has two really almost unguardable bigs, how do you have to adjust? And you tried with your other bigs off the bench, but just when you lose a veteran like that in the middle there early in the first quarter, second quarter, it's hard to sustain your defense.
2 minutes into the game, she had 2 fouls, if I'm not mistaken. And, if you look at her line, 4 for 5, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, we're better when she's on the floor. There's just no disputing that. And against a team like Stanford, when they have 2 of the best bigs in the country, we need her on the floor. And it was tough. I thought, Martha did some good things, and she's got versatility. And so there were some times we could take some advantage of some things with her at the 5 and get her moving around. I thought, Isla came in and did some things well. It's just Michelle's really important to our team and our success.
Charmin, after you've seen Kiki for a few years now, like what have you seen that's different from her game playing against her this year?
I think, it's her role has shifted in that, no offense to Cam, because Cam is phenomenal, but oftentimes it's like Kiki's the one, like they're going to her, and she had more of a support role. It felt that way previously, with Cam and Haley and others. So I just feel like she's taking more ownership and is much more aggressive, and she's tough.
Lonnie, it seems as if they got in the passing lanes for you guys a lot. What makes them so difficult when you are on offense with what they do defensively?
I think a lot of our turnovers and such, where they do have length on their side, but I also think it was all controllables on our end. For me personally, it felt like I was just throwing it to them. I have to be better at taking care of the ball, for sure.
Sure, but obviously I know this place means a lot to you in that regard. Does the fact that it's the Pac-12 last game between Stanford and Cal add anything extra? You guys will play each other next year.
I didn't think about that at all. I'm really sad that our conference, won't exist, because I think it's the best conference in college athletics. But the fact that we're going to the same conference, I didn't really, think about that. We'll still have this rivalry. I think it'll still be the Battle of the Bay, and we got to figure out a way to win it.
Leilani and Marta, you guys are obviously coming off a really good weekend last weekend. You were to win both games. What do you guys need to do in this next week you have between now and next Friday to try to not regroup, but just make those changes? Because you got 4 big games left on your season. You guys are trying to do things that haven't been done at Cal in a while. What do you need to do as a group to regroup and move forward going into next weekend against Arizona and Arizona State?
I would think that it's just a game of runs. Basketball is, and we got punched today, but it's how we bounce back, and we know what we're capable of, and we just have to show that confidence moving forward. We know we can do it.
Marta, when you've played in previous schools and in previous conferences, there are big dogs that you guys have faced the way that Stanford is in this conference. After playing them twice this year, what, I guess, can you kind of take away about how close you guys might be to them? The result's not here, but does it feel like there's things that you can pull out of tonight that make you feel like the team's pretty close?
Yeah, of course. I think you can see it if you've been following us through the season, there's been a growth. We have a bunch of newcomers in the team, at least 3 in the starting 5, now 2. So it's been a process to get to know each other, to figure out, came here late, to figure out how to play with each other, figure out our positions and stuff. But we're definitely proud. We don't, it wasn't let me rephrase that. This loss doesn't like take us a step back or anything. If anything, we've had other tough games in during the season and we've learned from all of them. We've come back and we've had swept the Washingtons and stuff. So we just want to keep pushing and see this game and learn from our mistakes and learn from Stanford what they do right. They have length, but they're very disciplined on defense, which that's something that we may be a step back there. But we got practice tomorrow. That's all we need,
Melanie, I know Sherman mentioned some of the shot selection she didn't necessarily like, but was there something Stanford does? Marta just mentioned their length that took you out of, generating some of the shots that you're accustomed to getting.
I think we needed to adjust a little bit better in understanding the shots that we can get. We had a lot of mismatches, advantages that we should have took more advantage of. Just understanding that we can't get always plan A and we have to move on to the next.
So Sharman, over at Cal, you said that even though it was a nice crowd, you thought it could be better. So what did you think about over here?
I thought this was good. It filled up a little bit. At the beginning, I was like, oh, dang, nobody wanted to come see this one. But then it filled up. I don't know what their numbers have been. Our numbers have picked up as well. We had great crowds against the UCLA and USC teams, and that could be, UCLA, what were they, number 2 at the time, and USC Juju had just put up 51 over here. So we have just phenomenal talent in this conference, and I'm happy that people are coming out and in bigger numbers to watch.
Time for one more.
What happened?
We'll say it after.
Okay.
I was just gonna ask about Camille. She only scored 2 points. Was there anything they were doing particular defensively with her? Just thoughts on what happened there?
I thought they were all over all game. I mean, Tar doesn't like people having days against her, and I know that, she knows that she's our leading scorer, and when she's clicking, that helps us click. And I think it was a really concerted effort to not allow her to get loose. And Yo will bounce back from this, and she'll learn from it as well. We'll figure out ways to free her up even more. But I noticed constant pressure on her every time that we were on offense.
Thanks, everyone.
That's on Jane.
Well, back to Leilani's question. Sorry, Anish. This is silly, but how many, you plan A, plan B, how many on a system, in your system, do you typically have plan A, B, C? I mean, when you improvise on offense.
Oh, like what are different options?
Right. I mean, how many typically do you have on a given time down the floor where plan A doesn't work?
Yeah.
Plan B is not there.
Was that for me or like?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the reads
Okay.
and what we want to attack. And, early on, we thought that they had some switches off of our ball screens and we wanted to get it to the post when they had guards on them. And, sometimes we weren't able to make the pass that allows for that next pass to get it there, right? It's challenging. They're a really good defensive team. And, we couldn't necessarily get the looks that we wanted. But yeah, but you're right. Everything we run, it's not necessarily that option 1 has to be the one that you take.
Okay.
There's always several pieces to every play.
Thank
I think what you just heard is them seeing that Oregon State won.